sensitivity exists on a spectrum, and it affects a larger portion of the population than most of us realize. On one end, people experience only minor side effects when they consume gluten, and on the other, we have full-blown celiac disease. About 1% of the world's population is estimated to have celiac disease, but gluten intolerance is far more common, affecting around 6% of the population. That's 1 in every 20 individuals. Now, I've discussed carbohydrate intolerance on my channel before, and that's different than gluten intolerance. When you're carbohydrate intolerant, this means your body isn't creating enough of the enzyme required in order to break down carbohydrates. Gluten intolerance is a little bit different. Gluten is actually a protein, not a carbohydrate, although we often associate it with carbs because it's found in grains like wheat, rye, and barley, which are largely composed of carbohydrates. When someone who's gluten intolerant consumes gluten, there is a wide range of symptoms they can experience. And many of these people don't realize are related. One of the most common is brain fog, and that's something we're going to dive into today. But let's start from the top and discuss different warning signs that you might be gluten intolerant. Number 1, skin rashes. One of the earliest and most visible symptoms of a gluten intolerance occurs on your skin. You may notice itchy rashes or small raised bumps, which could indicate your body is struggling to process gluten. Sometimes this can even develop into hives. Now, a lot of the times, skin irritations like this, we don't make the connections to our diet, we treat them topically, but a lot of times they can be caused by our diet. And one of the most common triggers is gluten. So if you're experiencing rashes like this, and particularly after you eat foods that contain gluten, this could mean you're gluten intolerant. Number 2 is increased anxiety. Now, speaking of us not making the connection between the foods we're eating and the symptoms we're experiencing, anxiety is another one that's often overlooked. The connection between anxiety and gluten intolerance isn't fully understood, but there's no doubt that there's a link. Now, I know today we're focusing on gluten intolerance and not celiac disease, but I wanted to point out that the relationship between anxiety and celiac disease is even more pronounced. Research shows that many people with anxiety experience significant improvements when they switch to a gluten-free diet. So if you're someone who isn't normally prone to anxiety, but you do feel more anxious after you have gluten, this could be a red flag that your body's intolerant. Number 3, allergy-like symptoms. Gluten intolerance can sometimes trigger symptoms that look a lot like those we experience with seasonal allergies. These include sneezing, itching or watery eyes, and a runny or blocked nose. So if it's outside of allergy season and you're experiencing these symptoms, or if you don't normally experience seasonal allergies, you might be gluten intolerant. Number 4, frequent illness. People with gluten intolerance may notice they get sick more often than those who aren't gluten intolerant. This can manifest as frequent colds, infections, or other illnesses. This is because gluten intolerance can impact our immune system in a negative way. It makes it harder for our body to fend off sickness. Number 5, unexplained joint pain. It has been well documented that people with autoimmune forms of arthritis are at a higher risk for celiac disease, showing just how much gluten can affect joint health. But even for those without celiac disease, those with gluten intolerance can still experience joint pain as a side effect. Number 6, fatigue or low energy. This side effect is very, very common. If you're someone who feels very tired, low energy, particularly after eating foods containing gluten, then this might be a sign you're intolerant. Now, it's important to note that there are other causes of fatigue, of course. There are other nutrients that if you're low or deficient in can cause fatigue, iron and iodine being 2 main ones. And I especially see women being low in these two. So it's important to pay attention to if your fatigue comes after you eat foods with gluten or if it's occurring at other times during the day. Number 7, infertility. Gluten intolerance can also affect fertility in both men and women. Unexplained infertility can sometimes be linked to gluten intolerance, as the body may struggle with hormonal balance and reproductive function when gluten is involved. So for women, if you're struggling with infertility and it's not related to insulin resistance or PCOS, PCOS is the most common cause, but if your insulin levels are in check and you don't have PCOS, it could be due to gluten intolerance. Moving on, we have migraines and headaches, another really common side effect. If you find yourself dealing with headaches after consuming gluten, it could be more than just a coincidence. These headaches often come on suddenly and they can be severe. If you can identify gluten as the trigger, you can reduce or get rid of them entirely. Of course, if gluten is the cause. And finally, number 9 is nutrient deficiencies. If you've tested deficient in certain vitamins or minerals, such as iron or B vitamins, it might be because your body is struggling to absorb them due to gluten sensitivity. Malabsorption is a serious concern for those with celiac disease, but it can also occur for people with gluten intolerance. And the long-term health effects of being deficient in these nutrients can be severe. So get your nutrient levels checked, and if you can't figure out why you're low in these nutrients despite eating enough foods that contain them, gluten intolerance could be to blame. Anyways, guys, those are the 9 signs you could be gluten intolerant. Let me know in the comments down below if you experience any of these symptoms after consuming gluten. Did you realize it was related? Have you made changes to your diet? Do you still eat gluten? Do you not eat gluten? Let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your experience and chatting with you guys in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.